In the dim glow of a flickering ultrasound screen, two tiny shapes pulsed with life. A mother's hopeful breath caught in her throat as the technician traced the outlines of twin girls, their fragile forms intertwined like a secret shared in the womb. But then, a shadow shifted, one fetus pressed against the other, its movements sharp, almost predatory. The screen flickered, and the technician frowned. "Just a glitch," she muttered. But the mother felt it, a chill that sank into her bones, a whisper of something wrong. 17 years later, Maria Grayson stood before her bedroom mirror, brushing her dark, tangled hair with mechanical precision. Her reflection stared back, pale, hollow-eyed, a girl drowning in the silence of her own life. At 17, Maria was a ghost in her own story, invisible at school, a stranger in her own home. Her mornings were rituals of isolation, slipping downstairs to a breakfast table where her parents, Dan and Amy, ate in brittle silence. No one spoke. No one looked up. The clink of silverware was the only sound, a cold rhythm underscoring the emptiness. Outside, the world wasn't kinder. Maria lit a cigarette the moment she stepped beyond the shadow of her house, her breath curling into the crisp March air. A girl from school, Tara, sauntered up with a sneer. "Still pretending you're worth something, Grayson?" Maria exhaled smoke and said nothing. She'd learned to let the venom slide off her, though it left scars beneath the surface. At school, she was a pariah, bullied on the bus, ignored in the halls. Her only tether was Lily, a sharp-edged girl who tolerated Maria's presence but never hid her disdain. Lily had everything Maria didn't: popularity, confidence, and Sean, a boy with warm eyes and a crooked smile that Maria secretly adored. Home was no refuge. Dan, her father, was a plastic surgeon obsessed with perfection, his cold gaze dissecting Maria like one of his patients. Amy, her mother, drifted through the house like a wraith, her mind fraying from nightmares she never explained. Maria knew her father's affairs were an open secret, one Amy buried beneath forced smiles and brittle small talk. Dinners were battlegrounds of silence until Amy tried to play matchmaker. "Prom's coming, Maria. You need a date. Someone nice." Maria's refusal was sharp, a crack in her quiet armor. Dan's critique followed, her lack of friends, her aimlessness, a scalpel carving deeper wounds. That night, alone in her room, Maria found something strange, an old sonogram tucked behind her mirror's frame. Two shapes, twin shadows. Her breath hitched. She'd never heard of a sibling. Shaken, she stumbled to the bathroom, splashing water on her face. When she looked up, her reflection blinked. Maria froze. The girl in the mirror tilted her head, a slow, predatory smile curling her lips. "Hello, sister," it whispered. Maria stumbled back, heart hammering. The reflection moved again, independent, alive. "I'm Airam," it said, voice smooth as silk and sharp as glass. "I've been waiting." Terrified, Maria demanded answers. Airam's eyes gleamed. "I'm you, but better. The one they didn't want. I see everything, your pain, your rage. Let me help." Maria shook her head, but Airam's words sank in, seductive and dangerous. "They hurt you. I'll make them pay." The next morning, Maria woke different, sharper, bolder. At breakfast, her parents noticed. "You look good," Dan said, surprised. "I'm going to prom," she announced, and Amy's face lit up. At school, Maria approached Lily with newfound confidence. "Teach me to skate," she said, ignoring the flicker of Airam's voice in her mind. "She doesn't deserve him." Lily agreed, smirking, and Sean tagged along, his presence igniting a jealous spark Maria couldn't extinguish. Days blurred. Maria spent an afternoon with Dan at his clinic, watching him sculpt faces into perfection. She saw the lover, a nurse with a coy smile, and felt Airam's anger coil tighter. Later, at a movie, they ran into Mark, the school's cruelest bully. He mocked her, and Dan's embarrassment was palpable. That night, Airam whispered promises of retribution. Then came the gift. Dan's birthday present for Maria wasn't jewelry or a car, it was a consultation for surgery. "To fix your flaws," he said, clinical and cold. Maria fled, tears burning, and found Airam waiting in the bathroom mirror. "He doesn't deserve you," Airam hissed. "None of them do." Maria pressed her hand to the glass, and the world tilted. When she opened her eyes, she was inside the mirror, staring out as Airam stepped into her body. Airam was a storm unleashed. At school, she faced Mark with a sultry smile, then tripped him down a stairwell, his scream echoing as his leg snapped. She skated with Lily, luring her onto thin ice, literally. Lily fell, her head striking the surface, blood blooming like a dark flower. "Oops," Airam purred, but Maria, trapped in the glass, screamed in silent horror. At home, Airam orchestrated chaos. She dragged Amy to confront Dan's lover, shattering her mother's fragile denial. Dan raged, but Airam's plan was colder still. She cornered him in his office, her voice low. "Would you love me if I were deformed?" He faltered, then admitted, "I couldn't." Her knife flashed, and he crumpled, blood pooling around his pristine desk. Sean was next, not planned, but inevitable. At a motel, their flirtation turned violent when he pressed her to face the police. A bottle swung, and he fell, lifeless. Airam froze, shaken for the first time. Maria's anguished cries echoed in her skull. Amy's nightmares revealed the truth: twins born, one deformed, killed by Dan's hands. Airam was that twin's echo, her rage given form. But as Airam stood over Dan's body, the mirror went dark. Maria was gone, all fused with her, their souls tangled in one flesh. Airam returned to Amy, who stared at her daughter with dawning terror. "Who are you?" she whispered. "I'm us," Airam said, smiling. Outside, the world waited, unaware of the girl who was no longer just Maria, or entirely Airam, but something new, something unstoppable.